Good morning. Can you hear me okay? I got my phone audio.
Yep, sounds good.
Yep.
Yeah, okay, thank you. Okay, so we're just going to go through this. We'll have a few meetings because it's more than we can cover in an hour, or 2 hours, or 3 hours. So we're going to just go over positioning and mechanics today. And then, y'all have to get into the rule book, and then we'll start going over the rules at the next meeting. But we're thinking that it's, important that you know where you're going to be, where you have to be at in order to call the right rule. So we're just going to go over mechanics and positioning. Jeff and Paul are here. They're going to help chime in, and Michael. Jeff is going to talk about arbiter a little bit in a couple slides, and then we'll just go right into mechanics and positioning. Let me see if I can share my screen here. Okay, can you see that, Paul?
Yep.
Okay, cool.
Can
All
you
right.
guys hear me?
So VLOA, what's that?
Can you guys hear me?
Yes. Hi, George. Good morning.
All right, just want to check in for roll call.
February 2021 version. Let's see if anything's working. All right. We'll go over the VPA expectations at the end or at the next meeting, as they're coming out. They just came out, or no, I'm sorry, NFHS just came out. VPA hasn't sent out their new expectations for this year. They're supposed to come out in a week or two. We'll go over our two-person mechanics and points of emphasis at the next meeting, and uniforms right here. Your assigner will be Craig Benson. There's his phone number right there. I'm sure he'll be emailing you if he hasn't already. He'll be assigning. He assigns from the top of the state to the bottom. He'll be assigning JV and varsity games. He does assign some middle school games. And he may be in touch with the person that does the youth games in your areas. Here's your uniform requirements. So you're going to want, Paul, where do we order these from now?
Well, you can get them in different places. I've had good luck with Honings, and they have these starter packages that you can get, and I'll be happy to, I'll make a note to get a list of some of the other sites where you can get uniform stuff. If you just Google, football uniforms or lacrosse uniforms, you're going to get a few sites that'll come up, so you'll be fine.
And all those will send you they'll send you a kit of the shirt, the hat, the flags. You'll need to order a timer separately and shoes. And I believe that the card and the pencil are also included in the kit.
Ask a question.
But you'll need a hat. Go ahead.
So I ordered a bunch of stuff like this for reffing, and I reffed a bunch. And then it seemed like they were changing to wide stripes instead of narrow stripes. Is that a thing, or?
That's not a thing for high school yet.
Good.
They just changed them. They just changed them 2 seasons ago for college to the 2-inch stripes.
Yeah.
I watched a meeting in Texas a couple weeks ago, and they had talked about the moving there, and they said that they're not moving there, and that they don't expect high school to move there for a couple of years, or a few years, hopefully at least, because it does suck. It sucked for the brand new college guys who spent hundreds of dollars on 1-inch stripes, and then were required to go 2-inch stripes the next year.
We had to do it for football, and I will tell you that some guys that were trying to get 1-inch stripes we're having a difficult time because the companies are getting away from it. So it won't be more than a couple of years, I can assure you.
Right. So hat, shirt, shorts will come. Black shoes, black socks. You're going to want to get some, Honings has some nice weather pants. They look like dress pants. They're just a little bigger. They work super well in the cold. I've worn them at Castleton in March, or Linden. They work well in the wind and the rain and the snow. But you're going to want to get some pants because there's going to be games early in the year where you're wearing pants. You're going to want to order a long sleeve shirt and a short sleeve shirt. There's also a winter or weather shirt, they call it. That's a thicker insulated shirt. And it works well. And then hat, gloves, you're going to want to probably get some gloves. You're going to want 2 finger whistles that you hold in your fingers.
I have some whistles.
And
If guys need whistles, I have a bunch of whistles. I'll be happy to send them to them.
Perfect.
Wasn't
And then the
George
timer,
talking about like the electronic, what was the Fox, whatever he was talking about? I wrote it down, but do you guys, I assume we're having to get those electronic ones, all the hockey ones are down that way.
We haven't been directed yet. For soccer, it wasn't required. And because we're socially distant out there, and we're socially distant out there in lacrosse as well. So you may want to invest in one, but VPA hasn't directed that we need to utilize those as of yet.
Okay.
So are you wearing your mask as you run around and then pulling your mask down and putting the whistle in your mouth? Or are you running around with your mask down so you can whistle right away?
Either way.
We don't know yet. The VPA hasn't told us about masks yet for soccer. We weren't required to wear masks because we're socially distant.
Really? You didn't have to wear one at all?
No. Oh, well, we had to wear them when we're meeting with coaches and meeting with each other at midfield or whatever, but for officiating, we didn't. So we don't know what the VPA is going to tell us for a week or two. I would expect it to come out in the next 2 weeks.
And I reffed a couple club games this summer, and wearing a mask and using a regular whistle was a challenge, to say the least. So we'll see what the VPA says. But yeah, if they want us to wear masks, then everybody should probably get electronic whistles, I would think. But we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
In the NFL, it seemed like the refs were wearing something that had it would fall down around your chest and it had a strap on it. Is there a specific ref's mask?
Just a gator.
What is it?
Yeah, you get the gator.
Gator.
It's called the gator mask?
Yeah.
GATOR.
And then it,
GATOR.
yeah. Well, there's also a referee mask that we use for basketball. It's like a gator, but it's got a little hook inside, and it's pushed out further for your whistle, actually. But we don't want to have our whistles in our mouths for lacrosse because it's a slow whistle sport. So we don't want to be like basketball running around with your whistle in your mouth, because then if you see something and you blow your whistle, well, you shouldn't have blown your whistle because it's a play on sport. So timer, you're also going to need to invest in a timer. They're like $70. You can get them at an official store or on Amazon. You get one with a clip like this one here shown, or you get one with a loop in it that you just put your belt through. You want a 100-second timer. You click it one way and it goes 80 seconds. You click it the other way for 20 seconds. And we'll talk about that as we go on, but you're going to want a 100-second timer.
Why in high school do they?
Well, we need the 20-second timer to get across midfield. And then the 80-second timer is for timeouts. Because timeouts are 2 minutes long, you run it for 80 seconds, or 100 seconds, sorry. And then you blow your whistle and they have 20 seconds to hit the field. Jeff Dobbin, you in here?
Yes, I am.
Jeff, you want to talk to us about Arbiter a little bit? I can flip the page when you're ready to this one. And you can just talk to us, tell us about logging in and getting on.
Yeah. So basically, what's gonna happen is once you get games, you're gonna probably get an email or sometimes a phone call from Craig Benson, the assigner. You basically will get a notification through your email. Sometimes you can get it through your phone, depending on how you have your phone set up for email through text alerts and whatnot. There is a mobile version for Arbiter Sports. I don't recall if it's paid or if it's free. I don't remember. Maybe Shannon can correct me on that. But it does allow you to let you know as soon as possible, like if you have like a game at the last second for whatever reason, or you got shipped around, or if a game got canceled. It's a good way to have email notifications set up so that way you can check and see, okay, what's going on, what's going to happen. Because of COVID-19 this year, probably everything could be more fluid. Everything could happen right on the fly. That may call and then ask an hour before a game. I mean, most likely Craig will try to avoid that as much as possible, but it does come up from time to time. So what you can do is once you have a game, you can log in, and if I go to the next screen, Shannon.
What's that?
Could you go to the next screen? Yeah. You basically get a list of all the games right there. I'm gonna share my screen for a second, Shannon, because I have the PowerPoint in front of me. It's basically gonna look like. Can you see it? Can you see my screen?
No, let me stop sharing.
Okay.
There you go. Go ahead.
All right. So once you log in and you see everything, go to the schedule tab. You're going to see the list of games and everything. So all the one in purple, basically what you're notified, so you've been notified that you have a game. So you can decide to either accept the game or decline them, depending on your situation. And then if you want to check out who you're working with your partner, you basically click on the game numbers themselves, and you basically will get your partner's list everything here along with the school contact information just in case. If a game gets canceled or whatever, you will not be notified by email or whatever. It will come up in red or it might come up in blue depending on what it is. Right now, we probably don't have to worry about it. I mean, it could happen, but most of the time, I've never had it happen. So I've been canceled or suspended. Once you get a game, you can basically, the referee will basically contact the umpire usually a day before a game and figure out what we're wearing or what we're gonna meet and whatnot, go over game management plan before the game starts. It could be depending on the two teams. It could be, okay, you gotta watch out. I had this game, I had this team before. This is some of the coaches issues I've had, this is some of the players issues that I've had. So it depends on the situation, who you're working with. Sometimes you may get a 3-man. Most of the time it's always been 2-man depending on the team that's involved in the game. As far as black, say for example, if you're working and you can't do a game at all, you go to the black, go to the black tab and you can click on black all day, click on any day, it will basically block you from having a game. Now keep in mind, something that did happen 2 years ago when Quick Bet was a signer, if you block a game, if you say, I have a game today and I decline it, what will happen is once you decline that game, it will also block you for the entire day. So keep that in mind as well. So what's gonna happen is if for whatever reason you can't work a game because it's too far from where you work or whatever the situation is, but you can work another game, just email Craig Benson, decline it, and then submit that you can't work the game, and then email him as soon as possible, saying, hey, I can't work the game because I'm an hour away from when the game time starts. I'm not gonna make it in time. But just let him know as soon as possible that you're available to do any other game that day. Because if you decline the game, you will automatically be blocked for the entire day. So if you are blocking a part day, say for example, you're going to work from your time range from 8 to 3, you can only work until after 3 o'clock game, then that's the point where you can hit in block half part day and then just stop the time and click whatever. If you know if you're on vacation or whatever, go ahead and put in the block schedule through the possible, so that way you don't get like sudden request or you have a game but you're on vacation and Craig doesn't know. It's not going to be a very happy guy, that's for sure. So one of the cool things is, actually I can skip this page, it's more for current official. So for example, if you have a conflict with the team, you can go to the black team page and say for example, if your son plays for a team, high school team, most likely you shouldn't be a referee for that game at all. So if that does happen for whatever reason, then just go to the team list, check out the team that you don't want to have a game with, or if you have a conflict with the coach, whatever the situation is, just go ahead and to the team page and block it off. So that way you don't get any games at that high school or that level school. Travel limit. So this might be a little tricky. So Craig Benson had a list of officials based on the zip code of where the address is. So now because of COVID-19, some people may be working from home and some people may be actually going to work. In the past, we've done it based on that work radius. So for example, if I live in Northfield, but I work in Montpelier, I usually put in my Montpelier work address for my location, so that way I can travel from my work to go to wherever I am in the 20-mile radius based on whatever game developer and be easier for Craig to get everything in. The other thing is because of COVID-19, I strongly recommend that if you are working from home, that get cut off. If you are working from home, you should probably go back into the travel limit and set your travel limit protocol to your home address instead of your work address, just because you may be further away from another team that you might be going to work address. So it'd be more convenient for Craig to figure out, okay, who's available in the 20-mile radius for the game. And that's about it. So, yeah, I'm gonna turn it over to Shannon.
I just got a question, kind of best practice, I guess. I've gone back and forth with Craig about it a little bit, but like I mentioned, my kid's a junior at BBA. He's pretty good. I obviously wouldn't want to ref a BBA varsity game. Craig's okay with me reffing JV games. I think I'm okay with that. I know the coach and some of the players, and I've coached some of those in youth lacrosse. And how far do those conflict of interest, so to speak, go from that perspective?
I will leave that to Craig Benson to decide, but if you're comfortable and you're okay with that, let him know. Ultimately, he's the assigner, so he will basically be in contact with the coach to make sure that there's no conflict at all. It's usually up to the assigner to decide his decision on the conflict of interest. If it's a JV game, it's probably not a big deal, but if it's a varsity game and it's an important game, it may become a conflict of interest, especially if your kid is involved and play the game, just to avoid any repercussions down the road.
Yeah, I help the team. I wouldn't want to be, obviously, I do stats. I'm sitting at the scoring table. I don't want to be involved reffing, obviously, those games. But so anyway, I'll work that out with Craig. I just didn't know if you guys had any rules of thumb there for JV.
Edmund, I can tell you, and the other guys, I work in all the schools, so all of these coaches have been friends of mine, and I know them well, and it's not an issue. So don't worry about it.
Okay.
So any game you want to do, just sign up for it. It's not going to make a difference.
Okay, we'll go right into two-person mechanics here. So mechanics put officials in the best position to make necessary calls to keep their game safe and fair by using methods that are easily applied in a consistent manner. The best spot to be in for your most game situation is your positioning. We're going to hustle to our next spot, and then George will tell us throughout this thing that safety is our number one priority. We need to make the necessary calls to keep the player safe. We're going to be fair, but we're not going to be equal. I mean, we're going to have games where, you know, one team's fouling the whole time. The coach is going to say, you know, look at the fouls in the book. You know, one team's going to have a boatload of fouls. Well, oh well, you know, the other team's not fouling. We're not there to keep it equal. We're just there to make the calls and be fair. And while we're being fair, we need to be consistent. If we make a call in the first quarter, we need to make the same call in the fourth quarter. If we pass on the calls in the first quarter, the second quarter, the third quarter, we can't start making those calls in the fourth quarter. We got to remain consistent. You're going to talk about these things in your pregame with your partners. You're going to talk about positioning, where you're going to be as lead, what your expectations are as trail. You're going to talk about being consistent in your pregames. Lead. Lead. So for our slides here, L is the lead official. T is the trail official. As we go on, there'll be other signals in there. We'll try to define those. The lead official is the goal. The goal is the primary responsibility for the lead official. He's positioned roughly a step or two above or below goal line extended. And the lead has the end line coverage. So when the ball goes out of bounds on a shot or a pass, the lead needs to hustle down to the end line to make the call as to who's closest, and then would receive the ball coming back into play. T is the trail official. T has the shooter, the passer more often than not. The trail will move towards the goal. If the lead has to move towards the end line, so again, you're going to move with the play. The trail will assist with crease violations and watch for substitutions. The trail also has the over and back call. If the ball goes over the half line, that is the trail has to hustle back. Like the lead has to hustle down to the end line, the trail has to hustle back to the half line. And the trail will have the fire goal on any buddy passes or goalie shots. Again, in your pregame, you're going to talk about your responsibilities as lead and trail. And as now, we are always leading left. So you're always running to the left when you're lead. Your left arm will be your go arm when you're lead. So lead, you got the goal, you got the crease, you got the end line. Trail, you got to stay on the shooter. Trail, stay on the shooter. The shot, you can't follow the ball into the goal or over the end line. Shooter shoots it, you got to stay on the shooter. Keep an eye for those late hits or right after hits. You got the fire goal and you got the over and back. And anytime you're doing a sub-varsity game, it's going to be two-man. So we're only going over two-man today.
Hey, Shannon, before you go, because I have to leave, can I just a couple of things that I wanted to tell everybody?
Yeah.
If any of you new guys want old exams that I have, I'll be happy to send them to you. They're a nice study guide. And I'll be happy to do that. So if Alan, do you want one?
Yeah, what was it? Say that again, Paul?
I have some old exams.
Yeah, sure, send them.
And I also have the US lacrosse exam if you want that.
Sure.
So I'll send that to the new guys. I guess they've talked about contacting Craig Benson. So I'll make sure you get those out. And the other thing I have for Alan, this is totally off the thing, but have you had your COVID shot?
Oh, no, I'm 65. I'm
Oh, never mind, never mind.
So I should get mine in March.
That's okay. No, the only reason I'm asking, there's a way to move up on the schedule. I moved up like 3 weeks on the schedule, so that's all.
Yeah, are
Okay.
you over 70?
Wait,
So how'd you move up?
I'll tell you another time. Let's go.
Okay, okay.
All right, George, have you had yours?
March 3rd.
Okay, if you want to move it up, give me a call and I'll tell you how to do it.
Oh, okay.
All right, talk to you guys later. Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you.
A red button that says leave.
Okay.
Record.
Where's the button? So we're looking right here.
Record it.
The lead is leading left towards the end line. The bench side would be behind him. The trail would be on the crowd side going down in this direction. We have a midi, M for midi with the ball. So lead is on ball here. Lead has backed out, you can see, towards the sideline. And lead will be on the ball here. So he's the on official. We split the field between us. Oh, my sight lines are not falling up. There we go. Okay. So lead has right here, the ball is moved. Right there. Ball moves. The lead will slide in. And then he'll have a narrow focus right here. He's got to focus on the player in possession and the surrounding 5 yards. He's watching for fouls like pushes, holds, trips, illegal body checks, unnecessary roughness. He's looking for a slash here as the middy's moving with the ball and the defender's on him. We're not just refereeing the defense, though. We're also looking for a reward. Keep an eye on the offense. We don't just referee the defense. We referee the play. So don't discriminate against the defense. The off official of the trail has a wider view. They're off the ball. They're looking at all the other guys. They're watching for fouls like interference, illegal offensive screens, crease violations. Lead is looking down below. So if an offensive player is running through the crease, then that's the trail. The trail has to pick that up, blow the whistle, and go the other way. The lead, if our midi passes the ball, the lead stays on the passer here, watching for that late hit. Both officials, you need to move to improve. So they're connected. You see they're connected on a string or a yo-yo. They go in and out, up and down, but they need to move in unison with the play. So the midi's moving over to the trail side. Lead will then stroll in closer to the goal, closer to the crease. Trail will slide back to get a wider view, a better view. Don't want to be right on top of the play. So this is Lead's new view. He's got now a wider view. He's looking off ball. Still aware of the shot. He's got to be aware where the goalie is and where the crease is. Trail will then have the view of the play. As everybody moves and rotates around, the lead and the trail need to rotate with the ball. Trail will go wider. Lead will go wider. We need to cut down the distance between your location and the place where the action might be. You're always trying to get as close to the crease as possible. Situations where the midfielder is barreling down towards the lane, you're going to want to get in there. Or when an attacker bobs and weaves through the defenseman to get between them and the crease. Again, you're going to talk about all this in your pregame with your other officials. Typically, if a player is running towards you, then you're about to be the on official. So here the media is backed out. Lead is now the unofficial. Trail is going to, again, be looking in. All right. He's got everything else. And here you're going to, the lead, if the lead is on the ball, looking for slashes and wards, a push, the trail is probably going to be the one who sees the illegal screen coming. He sees that offensive player moving while sending the screen on the defender. Lead will want to be aware of it as well. I mean, you can't be so narrowed in on the ball that you're missing that illegal screen if trail was off ball looking for interference. So that's on ball, off ball officiated in the half court, half field possession. If we get a goal scored on the faceoff, the lead official will sound the whistle once the ball goes across the whole, all of the line, runs in, faces the action, faces the half field, stops, and then signals goal. It retrieves the ball from the net or the goalie if the goalie hands it to, but they're not required to. And then they'll run up and hand the ball to the trail or do a short toss. And then jog in position to for the next goal. So lead will go in, trail will step in towards the middle of the field. Lead will go up, hand the ball to the trail. The trail will go up to the midfield. He becomes the face-off official. So during the shot, trail's got to be on the shooter. You got to be on the shooter. Jog towards the attack box. Keep an eye on the players. Right here, everything slows down for the players. We need to benches, go get lined up. That's why we want to be quick with getting the ball, getting it tossed up, getting them lined up on the field. If we're in position for the next face-off, then they have to be in position for the face-off or the delaying, and we're giving the ball to the other team. If they're sitting there, John, then we're either throwing a flag or getting them off the field.
Shannon?
So,
Shannon,
yes, sir.
That is where the timer comes in handy. Okay, and please share that with them.
So once we get the ball and we're ready to, so our trail has become the face-off official. So our trail becomes face-off official, lead becomes the wing official. Once our face-off official is in the spot, the wing turns the timer on. So both teams have 20 seconds to get set up. If somebody's substituting in from the bench and is running to the far side as the wing man for the team, they have 20 seconds to be set up. If they don't get there, the timer goes off. You blow the whistle, you give it to the other team. And this will, again, prevent that kind of stuff from going on. You know, you want to be, if you're in position, they have to be in position and ready to go.
I got a question.
Sir.
So reporting the goal scorer to the table, who does that? Or do you not have to do
Nobody.
that?
You just signal. Put your hands up in the air, goal.
You don't have to say who scored and who got the assist?
No.
Nope.
And what about when you write stuff on your card? What do you have to write on your card? You have to write somebody scored a goal, right?
No.
Just write it. You can put a dash down, you know, like the 5 dashes.
But isn't the ref's card the official score?
That's why you just put a goal down. You can put the goal down.
I've never used a
just
card.
A mark.
I don't know what that.
Right.
And both
just
cards
put a mark down.
match, right? Both refs have to have a matching card, or does the umpire?
The referees it'd be the referee's duty to keep score and keep timeouts. They both keep timeouts. We'll talk about that later, but
if those two cards have a discrepancy, is that a problem or not a problem?
it'll be the referees. It'll be the referee who talks with the scorer at the table. Like if some point, like say third quarter, you got 7-4 on your card, and the table has 6-4, and you would go over and talk about the score.
Okay.
Pretty much, so they're going to have it. So they're going to know when goals are scored. Both teams are definitely going to know when how many goals they have.
Oh, I've had plenty of games where the scoreboard wasn't correct. Half the time those are girls or something who don't really know the game.
Oh no, yeah.
I hate having a game. I had a game where at the end the film didn't match the scoreboard. There was a.
Oh yeah. I mean, you want to make sure that the scoreboard is accurate, because later in the game you're going to need to know if there's a difference in the score and whether it's 4 or 5 goals. But just make sure the scoreboard's accurate after each goal. I mean, that's the easiest thing to do. If it's after it's 1-0 and then it's 9-1, you make sure.
So the only numbers you need to worry about on your thing are the penalties. You got to keep track of that, right?
No.
If a kid gets too many penalties, isn't he kicked out of the game?
He can foul out, but that's the scorebook. The scorebook will.
Can I
go
step
ahead.
in? Okay.
Yep.
The referee will talk to the table. They are part of our team as officials.
Really?
Okay. Yes, they are. Just like in any other sport, the timekeeper, scorekeeper, they are part of the officiating crew. And that's why it's so important that the referee gets there with his partner ahead of time to discuss situations like you just mentioned, to prevent that.
So are they typically parents in the state of Vermont, or are they?
No.
Kids from the high schools?
They are. It's the game administrators' responsibilities to have adults there. And I understand sometimes you will have students there. So you work with what you have. We can only make recommendations to VPA after a game saying they have high school kids working. However, it's the game administrator's responsibility.
Alan, I can tell you, like, I usually do the BBA games, and like most of the teams have adults who are their scorers, and sometimes you run into kids, but normally it's an adult. Can I ask one question about this slide though, with the wing official as well? Like, is that you always line up on the goals, whatever side the goal is scored on, I assume, as the wing official?
Yes, the old lead then becomes the wing. So he's not going to cross the half line.
Right. Okay.
So we'll talk about that pregame there. You're going to go get there early, and 15, 30 minutes early. You're going to be on the field 15 minutes early. Go over and talk to the scorer. Early in the season, first couple games of the season, first week or so, you're going to go over and talk to him. You're going to say, hey, whenever there's a goal scored, you're going to write that down, write the time down. If we get a foul, you're going to write down the foul and the time, how much time the foul is serving. And we'll talk about fouls and times a whole lot more in the next one when we're talking about rules and fouls. But you're going to want to have that meeting with them, because sometimes, if you go to U32, there's a lady there that she does the book for basketball. She does the book for lacrosse. I've seen her at a soccer game. So at Harwood, kind of the same thing. You're going to get those people that pretty much work for the school, and then they work the games after school. At other spots, you're going to get a sophomore, junior in high school, and sometimes they've been doing it for 10 years and they know more about it than you do. Other time it's their first time, and it's like, I've never done lacrosse. I've done basketball and soccer and baseball and other stuff. And then you just walk them through it. You take that 3 minutes and you walk them through it. And when you're reffing that number 24 has had a 2-minute, he's had a slash, he's had illegal body check. You know when he's got 4 minutes or he's got 3.5, and you know when he's getting close. So if he's getting close and he's got 5 minutes, and you ask, how many minutes is that for 24? And then they'll tell you, and they'll tell him and tell his coach as well. You know, he's got 4 minutes. Okay, we knew he was getting close. So then everybody's aware that he fouls out next time around. Face off. So we got our wing face off. The face off will then we'll go right to here. Lead. No, where are we at? Oh, this is what's screen going on. Sorry, can't see everything. Okay, so face off. Our face off official is looking at the wing official. The wing official has his hand up. Mechanically, this is how we talk to each other. If our hand's up, we're not ready. Field is not ready for play. Okay. So field's not ready for play. He puts his arm towards the goal that he's towards his left, or towards the goal that he will be leading to tell his teammate that he's ready to go. When he's ready to go, the face-off will tell. These procedures will be different this year, but he'll put the ball down. The face-off official this year will put the ball down and back out, and then tell the players to go down, eyeball the scene, make sure everything's straight up and down. We'll get more into face-offs again in the next one, in our new face-off procedures. But he'll get down. The ball goes. This arrow, sorry. The ball goes to the left from the bench side. Wing will then become lead. The face-off guy will become the trail. And we're in position. The trail will have, the lead will have this count here. They got 10 seconds to get it in. Lead will have the count. And again, we're just getting the position here. So this is if it goes towards the left. Again, trail will watch the passing. Lead is on ball when it comes into him. If we go the other way. Wing. We get a goal there. Wing tosses, or lead tosses it up to the trail. Old trail becomes a face-off. Old lead becomes the wing guy. Wing's got his hand up. Everybody's substituting. He's got his timer on. He tells everybody, pumps his fist, pumps his arm. Timer on, telling the coaches. He's got his arm up the whole time. Telling the coaches, timer's on. They got 20 seconds to get everybody, the field set. Field set, puts his arm down. He can turn his timer off or not. Sometimes you leave your timer on to let everybody know that you are timing and you do have your timer on. And then when it goes off, everybody hears it and says, okay, we were pretty close that time. We need to get out on the field and get the field we need to get our guys set quicker. The other team wins the face-off. We go to the right from the bench side. The face-off guy needs to back out. He's watching. They pick it up, go. Everything's legal. He backs out, sprints. He's new lead, leading left. He goes to his left. He's leading. Our face-off guy becomes the new lead. Our wing becomes the new trail. So wing is he's gonna, if it's not a fast break, he's gonna go up a little slower, watching for substitutions, making sure everybody is legally substituting. He becomes the new trail. If you get stuck as the face-off guy, just back out, let them go ahead of you, and then curl around them to get to your spot. Don't get run over. Again, safety is not just for the players, it's for us as well. Ball goes in. Again, from here to here, you want to go sprint. You back out and then you go. Okay. For end lines. What's going on here? There we go. So we got to restart. Ball went off the end line. We got to stop the play, put our arms up, blow your whistle, stop the play, and then point in the direction that it's going. And for lacrosse, just say the way it's going. Just point blue. You don't need to say off white because then everybody hears white. They think it's white. If it's a close, if it's close in there and it's off, it bounces off white towards the end line or sideline, doesn't matter. Color, blue, point to whichever direction blue is going. Don't need to say bounce off white's chest, bounce off white's knee, whatever. Blue, point. Or blue ball and point. Either way, blue point, blue ball, point. Sometimes we're going to get crossed up. You're going to say blue and point white. That's okay. It's going to happen once a week. Reset yourself. Say blue again and point to whichever way blue's going. Blue ball, blue ball. Okay, we got to restart. You're going to swing your arm around. You go all the way around, restarting the clock. That's the clock restart. They're watching. The timer is watching you. And when you swing, you whistle, and that will restart the clock. You're giving this clock's count. So lead has the end line. The whole end line is his. The end line on the near side of the field and the end line on the far side of the field. The whole end line is the leads. The trail has his sideline. The sideline down towards the end line all the way to the other end. The trail also will have, the lead will also have his sideline all the way to the cone. And the trail will obviously have backfield, backcourt, over and back. 16. So we're going to restart the play. We got a slow whistle coming back. We got some subs coming on. Set the field. On out of bounds, we don't need to do a quick whistle out of bounds. Set the field, and then go. Signal and go. So deep restart. We got the midi with the ball coming out of bounds. Our old lead is the new trail. The trail is going to signal this restart. Make sure the field is set. Your teammate has his hand up while there are substitutions going on. Field set. Count. You get the players counted. Make sure there's enough players on the field. Make sure that there are not too many players on the field. That somebody's in the box. And we need to make sure that there are the right amount of players on the field before we start. So now new lead will put his hand down and signal by putting his hand in the direction that he's going, telling his teammate that the field is ready for play. His teammate puts his hand up then, and then winds the clock with the whistle starting the play. Trail will then move up with the ball. Lead will go towards his goal that we're going to here. You don't want to be ahead of the ball. It's new trail here though. You want to, because it could turn over. You're going to turn into new lead. You want to walk up slowly with the ball. Stay behind the ball. New lead has responsibility of the goal that we're going to. So if we get a long pass, he needs to get down there and get in with that goal. So if he has to give up the midline for offsides, he's monitoring offsides here until his partner gets up. He's got to give it up. He's got to get down to the goal. The goal is his primary responsibility here on a deep throw. Trail will then take over responsibilities for offsides. We're counting forward on offsides. And then we'll go into our half field set position.
Shannon, can
Sure.
you explain to them why we count forward?
Well, go ahead, George, you go ahead and tell them all this.
All right, gentlemen, you count forward, okay? And the reason for it is that you'll check for the offensive team first. Anything behind you, if you're looking, you're turning your head away, you're leaving your partner all by himself, and people can, players can get hurt. Don't turn your head to count if they're offsides. Also be aware if there's a person in the box coming onto the field. Don't just count by the number of people on the field, but you also need to be aware of the substitution who is in the box area coming on, if that makes any sense. But count forward at all times. If they're yelling offsides, offsides, and your back is to the where the offside takes place, so be it. You're looking for the major felonies. That's my input.
And a lot of times, if you're looking backwards and you're counting backwards, if you're looking for 3 guys in the backfield, a lot of times there's going to be 2 guys in the backfield because they're subbing, and they're going to sub off the backfield. So if there's 2 guys in the backfield, you're thinking, oh, there must be 7 guys in the front field. Well, there's probably only 9 guys on the field, or 8 guys on the field. So if you're looking backwards to count, you're counting to 3 instead of counting to 6, then a lot of times the math's going to be wrong because there's not that many people on the field yet. So a lot of times in a junior high game or a JV game, the benches are counting backwards. They're looking back. They only see 2 guys in the backfield. So they think somebody's in the front field offsides. They've got to have, and they probably, sometimes they only have 5. They don't have enough guys on the field half the time when they're in the transition. So that you got to count forward as well, because that's where the math works.
Thank you, Shannon.
We had a slow break? Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, no, I just said thank you.
Oh, thank you. We get a slow break. So ball turns over. Mitty's got the ball. Could be from an out of bounds. Could just be a turnover. And everybody else is back, and they're not any pressuring or anything. Our old lead becomes our new trail. He's still got that now. He's still got that end line. Old trail becomes new lead. Slow break, he's monitoring. Could be a press. So everybody's up there. We're monitoring. Most of the players are still in the backfield. Back up. So new lead is backing up, keeping your eyes on the play. You're either backing up, facing the ball here, facing the midi, or your turn. You're always going to be turned with your shoulder. But right here, you just want to stay open. We got a slow break. Keep your back to the cone. Back up. And your whole view is open. Your body's open. You're open to the play. You're open to the field. Get to the line, scan the field. So right here, our trail, our new lead wants to get to the cone, and then he'll go. Okay. So you want to be open to the field. Ball moves up. We're moving with the ball. Our trail is staying behind the ball here, moving with the play. But again, in case if that kid drops the ball, and they're going to drop the ball in JV, they're going to drop the ball in junior high, they're going to drop the ball in varsity. Well, we could get a quick turnover and shot here. So trail could become new lead real quick right here. So that you're going to want to stay behind the ball. Ball moves up, trail. Their new lead now is moving up. Getting trail moves up again. Trail right here. I don't have a line. I don't have a drawer. But this is where trail is going to kind of walk through the substitution area shop and make sure that the substitutes, especially on this slow break, and that's sometimes why it's a slow break, they want to get those substitutions in. He wants to make sure they're substituting appropriately. If the offense is not substituting appropriately, you just blow your whistle, turn the ball over. The defense is substituting in an illegal manner, then you would throw a flag. Fast break. Lead. We get a fast break here. Ball turns over right there. You are going to need to sprint down the field. Everybody's now in this situation, the trail is not going to worry about the misdemeanor. He's not going to worry about on a illegal substitution. He's got to get down the field. He's got to stay on the shooter right here. Our midi is sprinting with the ball. Lead is sprinted to the lead position, and trail's got to sprint up, and he's got to stay on that shooter, stay on that passer, and watch for any kind of late hit. The new lead will have the 10-second count here. So once the ball gets across half field, he'll start counting manually with his hand and arm so everybody can see. Keep your eye on, he's on ball right here. Because for the most part, he's going to be parallel or hopefully a few steps ahead of the ball. So he's going to be on the ball. So he's got the passer and the shooter for a slash or a hold, a ward again. A trip or anything like that. He's the on-ball official. So he's got the count. As trail comes down the field, we may see an offside. If you get an offside, then you gotta blow it or throw a flag. But right here, we are concentrating on getting down the field and making sure that our shooter is safe. Where am I? Penalty relay. So in a bunch of these slides, we talked about some offsides penalties or slashes, an illegal substitution a lot. You're not going to see a lot of those. You may see some in JV. And early in the season, you're going to want to call those because if we don't call them, then they don't learn. So they learn with the whistle. Sometimes they won't even know that they, are off. The guy running off the field has to be off the field before anybody comes on. And you can call it an illegal substitution, or you can just call it too many men on the field. Illegal procedure. You're going to give them the illegal procedure.
Shannon?
So yeah, go. Yes, sir.
Also on substitution, the player coming off the field has the right of way. Do you understand?
So if blue is coming off the field?
Yes, has the right of way. So the players are waiting, even the opponents, they can't run into him or impede him. He has a total right of way off the field. There can be no contact. That's it.
All right. Penalty relay. So we're gonna communicate. We get a penalty. Flag down. Slow whistle. We haven't blown the whistle yet. Slow whistle. We wait until either we get a goal, the ball goes out of bounds, the defense picks up the ball, or we get a second flag, or the offense has a foul or a technical foul or does something illegal. We get a flag down. We got to relay to the field. We got to relay to our partner. Relay to the bench. We got to tell everybody what happened, what went wrong. So throw the flag. Flag down. You yell. Flag down. Partner. So in this instance, it looks like lead has thrown the flag. He hollers flag down. His teammate then will echo flag down. So we stop the play. We blow the whistle. Play's done now. We confirm the foul and penalty to our partner. So lead will then say, blue 32 with a slash. You're going to go through all the signals. Slash tells the trail. Trail will then move up to where he can appropriately, or she can appropriately relay to the table, to the bench. We'll make sure, so while Trail is communicating the foul, the lead will set the field, make sure that the ball goes outside the box. Our defender will go off the field towards the penalty box. And Trail will relay to the bench. Now, Trail is going to do this in a C-note manner. Color, number, offense, time, and once in a blue moon, an explanation. So color, blue, number 32 or 32, and then the offense slash 1 minute, 2 minutes, 3 minutes. And then like if it's a 2 minute or 3 minute, if it's locked in or something like that, then you give the super short explanation. It's like, okay, blue, 22 slash to the head. Or you go 2 minutes locked in to the head. And then you roll. If they ask, there's not a lot of talking here. You've explained why it's a 2 minute. You've explained why it's a 3 minute. Sometimes it's just super late or super aggressive, so it's going to be 2 or 3 minutes. You don't have to. You could say late if you want, but pretty much it's going to be a C not. We're not going to do a whole lot of explaining. Color, number, offense, time. Color, blue, number 22 with a push. 30 seconds. And then we're going. If we have multiple penalties or a complicated penalty situation, then you're going to need to maybe walk a little closer to the table. You know, if you got 2 penalties, and anytime we're relaying, we're not in a hurry. If we get up there, you stop. 2 feet on the ground, facing the table, blue 22, push, 30 seconds. Okay? Right there. We're not in a hurry to get things restarted. We're not looking for a quick restart or anything here. We want to communicate fantastically to the table so everybody knows what's going on. We don't want them to hurry. And we get up there, blue, 11, push, 30 seconds, and you're going. And they're like, nobody knows what you said. So get up there, stop, present yourself, communicate, 22, push, 30 seconds. Or 22, blue, 22 slash 1 minute. Gardner's picking his flag up, or you go pick your flag up and get in position for the restart. But anytime we're doing this, we're just slowing down. Slowing down. Off official, while your teammate is relaying, don't be in a hurry to pick up your flag. You're watching the play. You're watching the guys walk away. You're making sure the ball goes to the right spot. Your teammate is relayed. He's jogging back to position. He's got eyes on. Go get your flag then. Reset to your spot. And then who's ever got the restart whistle will then. Everybody's hands are down. Both your hand is down. Your teammate's hand is down. It's time to go. Field is ready to play.
Hey, Shannon, can I ask a question?
Sure.
More just not necessarily about this, but just rushing, like you said. I ran into some situations this summer where people wanted to do running time to keep the game within a set time frame and all that
Sure.
stuff. Which, do you guys ever run into that with VPA? I know varsity obviously isn't going to do running time, but with JV or I just again, like you're saying, I found myself rushing and people were pushing to get the game going, and especially at the end of the game, and it was, challenging. Does that kind of stuff come up with JV at all, or no? It's always going to be stop
Sure.
time.
So sometimes varsity game runs late. goes into overtime. Who knows? Had a lot of fouls, a lot of whistles, runs late. JV guys, a lot of times there will be one varsity official staying on to work a game with the JV game, with the JV guy. Talk to the coaches before the game. Coach says, man, it's going to get dark, especially early in the season. Maybe we should do 10-minute running time instead of 10-minute stop time. Go over, talk to the other coach. Says, hey, coach says he wouldn't have an issue doing 10-minute running time. Coach says, that's fine with me. We want to get home too. We want to get the game in before that. Same thing, doesn't matter. Same thing. We take our time. We don't rush restarts because the clock's going. We got to get it on the field, make sure the field's set. And same thing with this relay. If we don't communicate appropriately with the table, they're going to give us the, what'd you say? I didn't get, what number was that? And then you got to redo it all over again anyways. So if you get into a hurry, sometimes it takes longer. Varsity game, if it's 12 goals, there's a 12-goal difference in the fourth quarter, then it's running time anyways. So you still want to slow down. And sometimes in those games, and I think it's the same in the JV game too, if there's a score difference, sometimes you slow down on those two. You get a goal, go in, signal goal, pick up the ball, kind of walk up to your partner a little bit here. You're doing some game management here. You're kind of walking up to your partner. I mean, team's getting killed. They're getting frustrated. They're going to start hitting guys because they're frustrated. They're getting smoked. So we want to slow ourselves down and then slow them down emotionally by maybe take a couple, 15, 20 more seconds off the clock while we're passing the ball off. Because if we're not, maybe they get scored on again. Maybe they get irritated and hit somebody illegally or get a super illegal hit. We want to avoid all that. Maybe we take a little more time off during that. If we get a running time JV game or junior high game sometimes too, we'll do running time. Then yeah, we are not trying to pick up the pace with restarting the game or relaying because then we get in trouble.
And
Make sense?
if the trail throws the flag, does he also report the penalty?
So trail throws the flag. He throws this flag in here. Lead, sometimes lead's so close he can't see it. Got to push. He's blocked off by 2 or 3 players in front of him. Maybe a guy ran through the crease. Maybe a defender was holding off the ball or something. We don't know. Trail throws the flag here. He then relays to his partner. There we go. I lost it. He turned this triangle around. He's relaying to the field. He relays to the lead. Hey, 33 blue with an illegal body check, 1 minute. Lead will then set the field, say, hey, outside the box, outside the box, outside the box, get the field set, watching the players, making sure nothing extracurriculars going on, nobody's jawing or nothing. Trail has then relayed to the field and his partner set in the field, then he'll go and relay to the table. Relays to the table, goes and gets his flag. If the ball is outside here where it was going, then he's going to have this restart. Looks at his partner, lead, has his hand up. Field's not ready, puts his hand down and motions. Field is ready for play. And this is how we're communicating. We're looking at each other. I got my hand up. Field's not ready. I put my hand down and point. Now I have relayed to my partner and communicating to him or her that the field is ready for play. Put my hand down as lead. Hand goes up as trail. Whistle. Restart. Fights. Rarely, hopefully. Hopefully you never have this happen. We get a fight. Lead is near side, trail's far side. Where the fight is, we get a fight. Trail is on the fight. Don't get between the players. Blow your whistle. Don't touch the player. Keep your hands off. Run in. Whistle, 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 whistle. 22, get away. 33, get away. 44, get away. 11, get away. Get away from each other. Everybody get away from each other. Whistle, 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 whistle. Lead has eyes on. He knows who's in the fight. Lead. Run. Sprints up. Outside the box. Towards the bench area. Puts his hands up. And communicates. Stop, 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 stop. Anybody runs on the field, this is why you have your pen. Get your pen in one hand, your paper in the other. Stop, 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 stop. 55 runs on the field, white, white, 55. 11, blue, runs on the field, 11, blue. Stop, 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 stop. Coaches can come on, coaches, it's okay for a coach to come on the field here as long as he's not an antagonizing coach, encouraging what's going on. If a coach is running on the field discouraging, then we would welcome that. Players running on the field, we write them down. As the bench side official, this is your job. You hold the benches. Hold the benches. The on-site official on the other side will be blowing his whistle. He's got the participants. 15 white, 14 red, 22 white came in. He's got these guys. These guys are all gone. Anybody else that came in, he's got these guys. So come in. Get together with your partner. You showing that? Yeah, we got it. So you freeze or stop. We got our whistles. We got multiple flags on the floor. We're writing down the players that came off the field or onto the field. We're writing down the players that are involved in the fight. Get the field, get those players off the field, get the field in a sanitary manner. Our officials will come together, still observing everybody. We're talking to each other, but we're watching the players. Trail talks to the lead, say, hey, I had 33. I had 11 blue. I had 14 white. Lead says yes. 21 also ran in and punched the guy in the back of the head. Okay, got him too. 8 ran onto the field. 8 blue ran onto the field. He's the only one. Everyone else took a step, stayed back. So we got these guys. We got what their penalties are, what their infractions are. We then come over and report it. Most likely, all these guys are going to be ejected. Any questions about that?
Yeah. So if one kid is wailing on another kid, you just sit there and watch? You don't go in and break up the fight?
We're not putting our hands on any underage children.
So what happened? I mean, a kid could get seriously hurt if it's a mismatch or a guy's on top of a guy and he's wailing away. That seems like a liability.
Is it more of a liability than you put your hands on the child?
I know. So what, I mean, who breaks up the fight? I mean, kids don't
The whistle.
Okay.
Because there's somebody blowing the whistle.
Can I step in?
Yeah, George, go
Okay.
ahead.
First of all, I've been involved in many fights. You know who got hurt? Me.
The ref.
Yeah. You think it's funny?
Well,
No, it isn't.
I have a helmet on.
Okay.
No,
Now, however, you put your hands on a kid. Okay. Think about a $5,000 retainer for liability. If that kid gets hurt and he has the potential to go to college, shit's going to roll downhill. And you're going to put yourself in a position that it's going to be so uncomfortable. Do not touch them.
Okay.
That's why you say coaches come. When they're beckoned to come on, they're coming on to help. That becomes a coaching issue at that time. We already threw our flags. There's no need for us to touch any players. They have helmets, okay? They have padding, but the main thing is the liability. Parents are quick to sue. And when they do, it goes from school board to all the way down to the referees. And you could be doing your job, but thinking you're doing your job, protecting a player, but you are open game if that kid gets hurt. So it's not like you're watching them or one kid, because I have never seen someone get seriously hurt in a fisticuff with helmets on, and usually both kids are happy their teammates are stepping in to break it up. Okay, shots don't make.
Hockey too, Ed. Do hockey refs no longer break up fights either?
Well, hey, I'm not on ice. That's a whole different
refs
sport.
don't get involved with fights either. I mean,
Okay.
Yeah, don't. I threw my arm out in a championship game trying to prevent a player from going after another player. No, that took me at least 6 months to recover. Do you think the players and the fans give a shit? No. What I'm trying to tell you is that protect yourself by not touching them at all. Let the coaches come on the field and do what they can do.
I hear you. I got it.
That's the best I can tell you.
I got it.
it's also really tiring to fight. So they, at least with hockey, it doesn't last long because it they get worn out, and they like
Right.
I think Shannon said, they're happy for their teammates to come in and break it up. But yeah.
But fights usually happens when you don't apply game management. Okay? The score is 20-2. Are you going to call a face-off violation on the team that has 2 and put a little bit more salt on the wound? There's some things that you're going to let go for the good of the game. Let the team that's getting their ass kicked feel like they got a break, so that you don't have guys going out for cheap shots or takeout shots. So, you use again, utilize all your tools, your skills, your people skills. And then most of all, a good program, teammates will police each other. But then not all programs are good, and I understand that. So, but game management, yeah, exercise it, and you're gonna learn how to do that eventually. Okay, that's enough from me.
So again, we need to communicate everything, and then we're going to go back, right, and we're going to get together. We're going to report all the fouls, and then we're going to restart the game where the ball was. Coin toss. So this is, we're going to go through how we would normally do it, and then we will go through this year's. So referee will get the home captains. Umpire will get the visiting captains. Identify who the speaking captain is. A referee will then talk to the captains in the captains meeting. He'll introduce himself, introduce his partner, ask captains to shake hands or fist bump. Show a coin to both the captains. Explain the coin flip procedure, if he's going to catch it in the air or just let it fall on the ground. Or sometimes some guys will say, if I drop it, we'll do it again. I just toss it up and let it land on the ground. Whichever way it lands is what we're going with. Ask the visiting team captain to call it, heads or tails, toss it, and then you can either catch it or let it drop. Whoever wins the coin toss will then, their speaking captain will choose the goal that they'd like to defend, or if they would like the first alternating possession. So if we get an alternating possession, which if the ball's on the ground and we get an injury, or if the ball goes out off two guys, or we don't know who it's off, then we go to alternating possession. And if the team that won the alternating possession in the coin toss will then get the ball. After the toss, the players will rotate so that their backs are to the goal that they will defend, and the referee will indicate to which team has AP, their first AP. So those are the usual standards. This year, for 2021, whenever possible, we are going to avoid close and frequent contact. We'll be wearing our masks onto the field, and we will speak to the coaches. We'll be socially distancing. Pre-game, we're going to go over to the coach, say, hey, coach, all your players properly and legally equipped by rule. Including this year, does your goalkeeper have a chest protector that is required and NOC approved? Coaches will say yes. You ask the home coach, is there appropriate medical personnel on site? If there's not appropriate medical personnel on site, then we will not begin the game. Usually there's one around. Usually there's more than one sport going on. There's a baseball game going, and there's a track and field contest going. So they'll have somebody that's on a cart riding around. But as long as there's appropriate medical personnel on site, then we can start the game. We're not going to do any inspections for equipment. We're not going to check people's shoulder pads or anything like that. We'll do a stick check. Player will drop the stick on the ground, say, hey, and we'll go over and check the stick. We'll talk about stick checks and stick rules and measurements in a later meeting. We're going to meet with the captain. We're only going to get one captain. Officials are going to wear their mask. Captains are going to stay socially distant. We're not going to shake hands or fist bump or elbow bump or any of that stuff. We're going to do the same thing. We're going to connect a regular coin flip. We're going to ask the visiting team, heads or tails, and then whoever wins will choose alternating possession or whichever goal they want to defend in the first and third quarters. There's no pregame meeting with the face-off players like there normally would be. We're not gonna have NFHS, the National Federation of High Schools, has requested that we don't have a pregame meeting with the face-off guys. So these are your 2021 pregame procedures. We're going to be socially distant. We're going to wear masks while we're having a captain's meeting, while we're having coaches' meetings. Coaches' meetings are separate. We go over to the home coach. We talk to him. We go over to the visiting coach, say, hey, coach, all you players properly and legally equipped according to rule, and including your goalkeeper having a NOC-approved chest protector. And then we'll have the captain's meeting with our masks on, socially distanced, flip the coin, and go. So we're only going to have one captain from each team. While we're meeting with the coaches, sorry, let me back up. While we're meeting with coaches, we're going to ask him these questions. We're going to also ask him who his in-home is. We're going to ask him who his captain is. Now, there's only going to be one, which for us is okay because usually there's like 4 or 5 when we fill up the whole card with them. Now there's only going to be one. Who's your captain? Who's your in-home? Write the in-home on your card. Write your captain on your card. And you're going to talk to these captains, say, hey, captain, you guys are the captains. If you guys have a question, then we expect your teammates to relay your question through you. We expect you to kind of be a branch for us to keep your teammates legally and properly acting throughout the games. If we have an issue, then we may speak to you and say, hey, 33 is running, talk to 33 a little bit. I mean, you'll be able to feel these captains out during that meeting, throughout the game, on what their maturity is and if they're going to be able to relay for you. But this year, we're going to be wearing masks. We're going to be socially distant. We're only going to have one captain. We'll do stick checks. We're not going to have a face-off discussion before the game.
Hey, Shannon, do we know?
No player lineups. Go ahead.
Do we know, are players going to be wearing masks, I assume? Do we not know?
We don't know.
Okay.
They're going to be socially distant.
I was just going to say.
I don't know if they're going to be. I don't know if they're going to be wearing masks. I'm going to assume that yes. I'm going to assume that they'll be wearing masks while playing. Like basketball players are currently wearing masks. Like soccer players are currently wearing masks. I'm going to assume. I'm going to make the assumption and the prediction that the players will all be masked while they're participating in lacrosse, whether they're on the bench, whether they're on the field.
Yeah.
Keep in mind that while they do have to wear a mask, we also have to enforce the mouth guard rules. So that's another thing to keep in mind. That's why we're not sure about the masks at the point, because of the mouth guard rules as well.
Yeah, it's been interesting with the masks, and then they haven't had to wear mouth guards, and you can't really tell. And just with this, it's just been hard to read players with masks on. You know, it's just coaches have had challenges. I'm sure refs too. It's hard to tell what a kid's, you know, connect with them as much. Anyway, just wondering.
Sure.
There's going to be a loss of possession, like a mouth guard rule, loss of possession if they're not wearing their mask?
If it's the offense.
Yeah.
It's a technical foul. So anytime the offense has a technical foul, then the offense drops the ball. If a defense performs a technical foul, then it's a 30-second penalty.
So will that be an unofficial new rule, or will it be actually written in the rule book? The mask rule.
That has been in the rule book for a few years.
The mask rule?
No, the mouth guard rule.
No, but I'm saying if a kid's not wearing a mask now, is it like the mouth guard rule?
And the kids not wearing, well, if kids are required to wear masks, then we will say 33 mask up. 33 mask up.
So
Not sure how they're going to put their masks up with gloves on. So I don't have a superb answer to that question right now until we get the guidelines from the VPA.
It's been okay. I mean, hockey's dealing with the same thing, and it's been okay. The kids are playing ball. They want to play.
Right. I mean, it's been great in basketball. There hasn't been any issues. So if there's a team that has a waiver where a kid doesn't have to wear a mask, and that's it. It's just it's a waiver. We don't police that. We don't ask. If they say they have a waiver that a kid doesn't have to wear a mask, then 12 doesn't have to wear a mask. Pre-game, we're not doing a player lineup this year with a goalie on each end, players on each side facing each other. We're coming out of the bench right to your positions. So no lineups before the game. Players will go directly to their positions. And we will start with the face-off, no lineup, no run out, just going. Equipment checks. So we're still doing stick checks throughout the game. So we get a timeout in the first quarter. At the end of the first quarter, we get a timeout in the second quarter. We try to do, we want to do 6. So we'll do one at the first quarter. We'll try to get one in between the quarters. Don't do one at halftime. So we say, hey, 33. You grab the team that's your bench. Your bench is you're nearest to that bench. So if we see lead down here going towards left, and he's going to be towards this side. So you're going to say, hey, 33, drop your stick. Trail, 58, drop your stick. We're checking 6. We're going to check face-off guy's stick. You want to check a goalie stick? That's fine. You want to check a long stick? Check a stick. We'll go over the stick measurements when we go over rules. We'll spend a little time on deep pockets and thick widths and stick lengths. In that uniform thing, there was a tape measure in there. You're going to want a tape measure. I would suggest a light one. I have a couple of like sewing tape measures that are super light because you're going to have them in your pocket. So make sure that at least one of you has a tape measure for doing stick checks. For JV games, junior high games, you're not going to do as many stick checks, but you should still do a couple stick checks. Just get yourself doing stick checks. Get the players knowing that you're doing stick checks. Just keeping everybody, on the up and up. We're not going to go up and touch the players like we do and look at them and touch their shoulder pads and mess. We're just going to drop your stick, check the stick, go put the stick back towards where the end of the goal area meets. You're going to just drop it right there. So while we're doing a stick check, the lead in the trail will go towards midfield, and the umpire will face the crowd, the lead will face the benches. While you're checking the depth and everything, you got to be looking at the benches. One guy's checking the stick, the other guy's watching the benches, making sure everything is clean, everything is appropriate. As long as one official is watching the benches, the other official is checking the stick, then we're good to go. But we always got to have eyes on the players. Timeouts. So we get 2 timeouts per half. We're going to write these timeouts down when they occur. Red called the timeout in the first quarter at 6:06. You write it down. In the first quarter on your, if you just have a little piece of paper, whatever you have as your log sheet, first quarter, 6:06 for red. We get one later in the second quarter, 4:04 for red. The new trail or who's on that side there will communicate to the coach. Coach, you got 1 timeout left this half. Coach, you got 0 timeouts left this half. And then if coach says, hey, what do you mean? I got 1 timeout. You pull your pocket up. Coach, you took one at 6:06 in the first half. You took one at 4:04 in the second half. Yeah, that's right. Thank you. 0 timeouts. And then we go. We're going to anticipate, you got to feel the game out. Coach hasn't used any timeouts yet. I don't know if he's going to take them home with him or not, but end of the second quarter, he's got the ball. They're in the front, in the front court possession. You may call a timeout. If they got a clear with a long pole who's on a fast break, now he's slow and he's under pressure, you might call a timeout to get that kid out of danger of dropping the ball. If the winning team, if it's got a 1 or 2 goal lead, and again, kid's double, triple teamed, he's pressured, might call a timeout so to avoid a turnover. We go into overtime. First possession. I mean, we got golden goal. We win the face-off. We're going. Maybe he wants to get that face-off guy out of there and get a better stick in there. Or they want to set up a play. Might be a timeout right there. So we hear timeout. Got to have the ball. We got to have, if we're in play and we're live action, got to have the ball. If the ball's on the ground, you can't call timeout. Ball's in the air, you can't call timeout. Kid's got, the right team has the ball, the right coach is calling timeout, boom, whistle, timeout, 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 timeout. The player has the ball, coach calls timeout. I mean, seconds go by. It takes a second. Your hand's down here, down by your side with the whistle in it. Takes a second or so for it to go here. Coach calls timeout. Kid's got the ball. Coach calls timeout. Then he passes it. Between the time you bring your hand up to here, ball's now in the air. He had the ball when the coach called timeout. We're blowing the whistle. And then or the ball gets dropped. Had it. And you tell them, had the ball. You turn around and communicate, had the ball when the timeout was called. So White had possession. And then you're just going to communicate that, timeout White. Players clear the field. You register the timeout, you start your timer. Okay, you got a 100-second timer on there. Each timeout is 2 minutes long. Start your timer. 100 seconds go by, the beep blows. You whistle it off. White hit the field. Red hit the field. Everybody's now. Then you start your 20-second timer. White calls timeout. White only needs 40 seconds for their timeout. White hits the field. White's got all their guys on the field. They're ready to go. Red has got to get on the field. They don't have the extra minute, 90 seconds. They don't have it. It's White's timeout. They're determining how much time is coming out of this timeout. So they're on the field, ready to go. We're whistling. Red, hit the field. Red, hit the field. If Red's not in the field in a timely manner, then we might have a delay of game call. Most of that will depend on how often Red is slow to hit the field. Any questions about timeouts? Call a timeout. So if we got a timeout in the first quarter, second quarter, third quarter, if you don't have all your stick checks done, we do a stick check. If we get a timeout with 2 minutes to go in the fourth quarter, or if we get a timeout 2 minutes into overtime, we're not going to do a stick check. We're not going to put a team 3 minutes down with a minute to go in the game and a tie game and just kill that team. We're going to be situationally aware. We're going to have some game management. We're not doing a stick check late in the fourth quarter. We should have all our stick checks done by now. If we don't, we're not going to get all our stick checks done. Okay, any questions?
However, a coach may request one.
A coach may request one for number 11. Then we'll do one. But we're only doing that one. We're not going to grab one from the other team. We're only going to do 11s. Coach says, hey, can you check 11? We're going to check 11. And if 11's illegal, then we're going to throw our flag if a coach had requested it. But no coach requests one. As the referee, don't holler to your partner. Grab a stick. I've had a game where that's happened, and it's not the referee hollered to me, grab a stick. Are you sure? Grab a stick. Now, if your ref tells you to grab a stick, then you grab a stick. But you may want to ask him if he's sure, okay? Because that's what happened. We got a 1-goal game, a tie game. We grabbed a stick. It was illegal. If the stick's illegal, you throw the flag. If you do a stick check and the stick is illegal, then you make the call. Don't put yourself in that situation. Show some game management there. Let the players decide when we got a tie game, one goal game, with a couple minutes to go on time. You should have all your stick checks done by then. If you don't, you're not going to get them done, and that's okay.
Two things bother me a little bit about that. One is the whole statement at the beginning that you're going to be consistent throughout the start of the game to the end. And two, I think a kid who's playing with an illegal stick is cheating. So if it costs them the game, it costs them the game.
You should have all your stick checks done before then.
Okay.
If you don't, then that's an error in your part, and we're not going to make that affect the game, because then we're going 6-on-5 for the last 3 minutes of the game. Because, a kid had a loose net, some loose strings, or, his strings are too long. So
Okay,
We're gonna perform some game management there, and we're not gonna put ourselves in that situation. And we're not gonna put the other players in that situation.
how many?
If
stick-
again, like George said, like Mr. Cook said, if a coach requests, then we're gonna grab one. We're gonna grab that one stick.
How many
but-
stick checks do you have to do in a game?
We do 6.
6.
I'm sorry, no, we do 4. We do 6 in college. We do 4 a game.
2 each half, or can you do 3 in one half?
Try to do 2 each half, but if you get 3 done in the first half, then you do 1 more in the second half, then you're good. Get them during those timeouts in the first half, get them during that intermission between the first and second quarter, and then you do 1 in the third quarter. And again, if we got on the other side of a close game, if we got a blowout, we're probably not going to do 1 in the third quarter either. Because we don't like George said earlier, teams down 15-2. Clock's running. We get a kid with a deep pocket. Kid probably don't even know his deep pocket. He doesn't know how to use his deep pocket. He's down. Now the team's down for 2 minutes, locked in. So instead of 15-2, with them getting the ball every now and then, now it's what, 18, 19-2, and they haven't touched the ball yet, and they don't have a chance of touching the ball because they're man down for 2 minutes at least. So we don't want to put ourselves in that. We don't want to put them in that situation either. So we got a smoke show. We want to show some game management on that side too. For junior high and JV, do a couple stick checks here and there. To get good practice, I would do them early in the season. Junior high, we don't do as many. Usually 1 or 1.5 or 1 a game. For JV, to get yourself in practice, I would totally do them. Do a couple in the first half. And in JV, there's not as many timeouts, so you're not going to get the opportunity to do stick checks. They don't call timeouts, whether the coaches don't know or they just don't feel about it. There's not timeouts in a JV game. So you may only get the opportunity to do one at the end of the first quarter and 1 at the end of the third quarter. So
Yeah. Is it 2 minutes for unreleasable for an illegal stick now, or is it 3? Didn't that just change?
Yeah.
Or it's 2?
it is. It's 2 minutes. 2 minutes for all of them.
Okay.
So coach says timeout. Player's got the ball. Make sure the player has the ball. Don't just. Sometimes the defensive guy, especially in a JV game or a junior high game, the coach that's on defense, and he's either his kid's not on the field or his kids are not in the right spot. Who knows what's going on? They're not where they're supposed to be. He sees something developing, gets a little panic in him. He hollers, timeout, timeout, timeout. Take a look. Don't take a check. Oh, that's blue. Blue doesn't have the ball. Keep running. Can't have a timeout. Again, slow whistle sport. You don't have to, boom, blow the whistle once you hear something, see something. Blue doesn't have the ball. White's got the ball. You see Blue's calling timeout. White's on offense, and they're going, keep running. So make sure who has the ball. Call timeout, 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 timeout. We're still focusing. We get a timeout, and then a blow up. We get a timeout, and then we get a flag. Okay, so timeout, timeout. Still on the game. Game slows down, we pick up. Okay, dead ball officiating right here. Okay, guys are crossing. You're watching. You're watching. Okay, your trail here. You're watching guys cross. The guys from this side of the field are crossing over to this bench. Guys from this side are crossing over to this. Watch the cross. Somebody gives one of these or gives one of these, gets their stick dragging around. Who knows? We're alive. Play goes dead, we go up. Okay? We're coming even more alive than we are when the play goes dead. Play goes dead, we come alive. More so. Well, obviously we're rolling the whole time, but we're watching. Okay? Be aware. Be focused. It's not a time yet. Not a timeout for us yet. Okay? So chin up. Always watching. Report the timeout. Go to the center. I'm going to talk to our teammate now. How's it going? You know, have you seen anything? What have you seen? You know, I'm seeing some near illegal screens. You know, keep an eye on this guy. He's rolling before he sets the screen. You know, we got interference maybe. You know, keep an eye on this. The slash is really, he's right on the cusp. You know, they're on the cusp with this. Or, hey, game's going great. You're making good calls. You're making good calls. I feel great about the game. I feel good physically. The game's got good flow. Nice, good, clean game. You know, keep it up. Stay aware. You know, or I mean, hey, the ball's on the ground a lot. Let's try to get the ball on the ground. Get those. You know, get a loose ball push in there. Pick the ball up. You know, let's get the ball up the ground. Get it going. Personal technical foul chart. We'll go through these a lot more in the next time. You should have these in your, I don't know if these are in the book or not. They should be in the book. Well, if not, and you want these, then I can send it out to you, and I'll blow it up a little better. Okay, so we'll go over points of. So next time we will go over the points of emphasis, and we'll start going over some rules. So let me get out of the shared screen here. Okay. So get into this hot rod right here, okay? You're going to want to start reading this. We'll start going over some rules. We'll go over definitions. We'll go over rules. We'll go over those technical fouls. What's a technical foul? What's a personal foul? What do you do when you have a technical foul on the offense? What do you do when you have a technical foul on the defense? What's a technical foul for a coach? And what's a personal foul for a coach? What's a technical foul for a player? Or what's a technical foul for, or a personal foul for a player? You know? Any questions on anything you saw today about positioning and mechanics? And we'll go over mechanics a little bit more. It's hard to go over. Next time I'll change rooms so I can stand up and present some mechanics. We'll go over the mechanics slide and you know, just the signals, so that way you can see them. You can start practicing them in the mirror, whistling. Any questions on positioning or anything today? Wonderful. Well, get in the book. Take a look. If you get any questions, I have a bunch of rules questions. I have 3 PowerPoints on rules questions. We can go over those. It's the U.S. lacrosse test. I grabbed like 35 questions from there and just went through them. So we can go over those just to start getting that new knowledge going for you. Okay.
Good, thank you.
All right, thank you.
I'll throw out one thing here, Shannon. Just I think in 2 weeks we'll be doing an association-wide presentation, but you know, certainly we're going to include all the new guys as well. So it'll just be a little more encompassing, but I think that was on our agenda for 2 weeks to start that too.
Right.
Okay.
Cool.
Other than
All
that,
right, fellas. Have a great day.
thanks.
You too.
Thank you.
Take care.
Hey, Mr. Garavelli,
Yes, sir.
is he still on?
I am, George. Yes.
All right. Pick up your phone sometime.
Hey.
All right.